everybody? Welcome. Today is finally the day. We have all of the confirmed houses, scare zones, and shows for Halloween Horror Nights 32, otherwise known as Halloween Horror Nights 2023. I could not be more excited. We're going to go through all that stuff today, but specifically in this episode, what I want to do is we want to go around the entire park and we want to actually take a look at all the construction updates and talk about the speculation on where each of the houses and the scare zones are going to be. And hopefully we get some more confirmation about what scare zones might be just based on the decorations. So we're going to check it out. So come along with us. If you are a Halloween Horror Nights fan, this is going to be an awesome episode for you. So let's start out talking a little bit about Halloween Horror Nights 32. Now, we have done speculation videos. I will link to that below. You're going to want to check that out because it has so many details on some of the houses. I will say, now that we have the actual list of confirmed houses and scare zones and the shows, I'm pretty close. We did a pretty good job. I'm actually pretty happy with the things that we got right on that speculation map prior to all this information being released. So we did a pretty good job. Now what I'm going to be most concerned about is how close are we going to be on where we're speculating each of these things to be within the parks. So we're going to do an entire breakdown of the different houses and the confirmations and all the scare zones in another episode. If you haven't seen that, I will link to it below. But just starting out, we came into the main entrance, and I always kind of wanted to come here right to the very front to see if they have any of the construction up for the sort of scare zone that ends up being right here in the very front of the park between Despicable Me and the new Minions Villain Con. Right now I don't see any construction, but we were basically speculating that that was going to be Dr. Oddfellow's scare zone. There is a Dr. Oddfellow's official confirmed haunted house and a Dr. Oddfellow's scare zone. I still think this entrance area is going to be it, because usually whatever the big theme is sort of the Halloween Horror Nights ends up being right in this space here. Last year we sort of had the Pumpkin Lord out front in this space. It was basically the horrors of Halloween, lots of different pumpkins and things like that. I feel like the sort of carnival of horrors, the collection of horrors, Dr. Oddfellow, I feel like that's going to be this space right here. Right now we don't see any decorations, so we don't know for sure, but I have a feeling that's where this is going to be. Now I want to head down sort of the right side, take a right at the main entrance, go down the main street here over by the Bourne show, and takes you kind of over near ET. There's always a big scare zone right up here, and I'm curious to see if there's any decorations up and if we can kind of glean from the decorations what this particular scare zone is going to be. I'm already seeing some of the towers with the lights on it, just kind of leading up to this space. But as we get closer and further into the scare zone, I can already see more of the lights, but also this sort of like box down at the bottom that does have some decorations on it. And I'm struggling to figure out what that might be based on the confirmed scare zones. I can't really tell from the way it looks, but this might be the Zodiac, the sort of dark Zodiac zone. Now, one of the interesting things that I'm seeing for all of the different scare zones in this area, actually for the entire park, is all the scare zones are themed after Dr. Oddfellow. There are all these like different trips and experiments that Dr. Oddfellow's basically underwent throughout his career as a crazy scientist or whatever. And so all of the different scare zones, and then plus the haunted house, the actual house itself is Dr. Oddfellow's. This is shaping up to be kind of a Dr. Oddfellow's Halloween Horror Nights. So instead of like Jack the Clown or whoever the icon would be for each individual year, I think this year it sounds like it's going to be Dr. Oddfellow for sure. Just given all the different scare zones are themed after him, and then also we have that haunted house. So I think we're going to keep seeing more, but I'm thinking maybe that's Dark Zodiac. Maybe I think it's Dark Zodiac. It could be maybe Shipyard, just based on the like rust and the metal and stuff like that, but I have a feeling it's going to be the Zodiac. But we're kind of coming up on the next one that I can see, because there's always two kind of in a row right here, which looks very jungle-y to me, so I'm thinking that might be jungle. But I wanted to stop in here real quick and just take a quick peek at the new merchandise. And it says merchandise reveal, but like, you're not really revealing it anymore because Exorcist, it's already been announced. Like, I feel like I feel like they kind of dropped the ball. Usually each year they sort of release like one house at a time, and it sort of builds up the anticipation, and you can speculate and you're like, I wonder what's going to be next. And for some reason this year they released like one house, maybe two, and then just released the whole thing, like everything. So all the speculation has basically died down now overnight, and we're kind of more thinking like, okay, where are certain things going to be? And it also didn't let them kind of trickle out the merchandise over time for people to get more excited. I feel like they kind of dropped the ball this year. So I don't know what that was about. They took a long time, and I feel like the reveal was just too instantaneous. But we do have the Exorcist merchandise reveal right here. So let's take a look at some of it. It says "We shall fear no evil" on this shirt right here. $30 shirt, not too bad. Halloween Horror Nights right there, official. Anything on the back? Well, no, just the logo, Halloween Horror Nights. Not a bad shirt, I guess. And they have some glasses here with the same sort of house on it. Fear no evil. We shall fear no evil. All right, so we're coming up on the next scare zone, which is sort of right in a row after the first one here on the way towards ET. I'm definitely getting a jungle vibe from this one. So this must be where the jungle scare zone is going to be. I mean, I don't know what else you could mistake this for. I mean, there's no vines or anything, which I'm assuming they'll add. But I'm getting a definite like jungle vibe from this, just based on the colors and sort of like the stone and everything. Let's see if there's any more stuff up here. I mean, they've got the sort of light poles wrapped in that green color, so they blend in with the trees and the jungle theme and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna say it's probably a safe bet that that's the jungle scare zone right here. This ends up being one of the scariest scare zones, I think, because it's so compact. There's really not a lot of space for the scare zone, and so people are very like jammed in here, and basically the monsters can get you really easily because they're like all over the place, and there's nowhere to run or hide. And usually there's kind of like these little places where they're hiding in fog and then they jump out at you, so this kind of usually ends up being one of the dodgier ones. I see more stuff here, more of the sort of like jungle themed stone here at the entrance to the scare zone. Oh, there we go. We got some vines now. So now I'm feeling a little bit better about my my prediction here that this was jungle, because the vines are definitely pulling it through for me. I'm gonna say jungle. Now right up here, up on this walkway is the water area. I'm just coming up here because this is the one thing they haven't actually confirmed yet. Is the water show and what it's going to be. We've been predicting vampires to kind of go along with the vampires scare zone, but we don't actually officially know. We've just been titling it generic vampire spectacular for at this point. As soon as we know more, we'll let you know, but there's no decorations or anything, obviously, so, and no formal announcement. It's the only thing that hasn't been announced. We're heading back here to ET area. This is where they're doing the entire brand new DreamWorks land that's being built officially. You can see sort of a roller coaster being built there, everything being replaced. I don't know if we're going to see anything with regards to the haunted house, but we'll come back here and look anyway, just in case. Well, I couldn't see anything back there. All the construction walls are up, but that is where we were predicting that the new Universal Monsters, now officially called Unmasked, which is basically monsters in Paris, so like Hunchback of the Notre Dame, etc. And the Stranger Things house was going to be back there, because that's where, and again, I've broken a lot of this stuff down in my other videos, so check those out. But that's where previous houses have been that have been similar in nature. However, now with all the construction walls being up here, with DreamWorks being built, I'm actually wondering if those are going to be the entrances or not to those haunted houses, or if they're not going to have, or maybe they'll have one haunted house entrance back there, and one of the entrances might actually move to another location from where it has been in the past. So we're going to update our speculation map on the locations, just taking that into account that it might not actually be there this time. Maybe the same building for the haunted house, but the entrance may not actually be there. So if you're used to heading over towards ET to hit those big popular houses like Universal Monsters, Frankenstein was there, Beetlejuice, House on the Haunting of Hill House, all those entrances were back there. They might not be there this year. They might be somewhere else, like maybe over near Men in Black. All right, we just got over here by Men in Black, as you can see, and there definitely is a Halloween Horror Nights haunted house entrance right here. Usually there are two in this space. There will be one here, and there will be one right over there. gonna see if I can catch a glimpse over around the bend. If I see anything, I don't see anything official, but there's definitely one here, and probably gonna be one over there as well. And this is where we've speculated that Chucky and the new original house Darkest Deal will actually be occurring. Based on a bunch of different information we've looked at, I just feel like this is maybe where they're going to be. There's been a Chucky display in the center of that island for the last couple of years as well, so you think it's going to be somewhere near here. Could be over there or over there as well, but I just have this feeling, based on the houses that have been here in the past, it's going to be one of these two. Now, Darkest Deal is an original house, and it's new this year. It follows a theme of something around a musician who basically sold his soul to the devil for a chance to be a musical savant, to lead to musical glory. And basically it's time to cash in, and he doesn't want to give up his soul. But so that's what that's going to be about. Sounds kind of cool and interesting. I don't know, we'll see. Now, this particular location is a tough one. There is a large building back there where they have done haunted houses in the past. They don't use this location every year, but this year they might end up actually using this space, given the issue that I was talking about with regards to the DreamWorks sort of blocking off that access. So this may end up actually being where one of the entrances for those two are. One of them may come over here, so maybe Darkest Deal or Chucky may end up right here, and then the entrance to the other will still be over there. Maybe the entrance to one of the ones that where DreamWorks was will end up actually being over by Men in Black. So I have a feeling there definitely is going to be a house right here by Men in Black this year. Just don't know. It's going to be one of these, probably 3 in this space. All right, and right here is the, of course, infamous or famous, however you want to say it, amphitheater right here that we keep waiting for them to tear down. There's been speculation every year that that place is going to get ripped down, and they're going to replace it with maybe another Wizarding World attraction or some sort of other attraction. But here we are, another year's gone, and it's still there. But that, of course, is going to be where the Nightmare Fuel show is. This year it's called Nightmare Fuel Revenge Dream. And so, again, another wild, action-packed, fire, flaming, acrobatic event that's going to be probably pretty cool, just like the ones last year and the year before and the year before. So that's where it's going to be. Not a whole lot needs to be speculated on that one. I mean, that's pretty much just fact. Walking across this little sort of like island area here, this is obviously where Chucky photo opportunity has been in prior years. I expect that to return. However, they have said that there is going to be an interactive Chucky experience. I don't know, sort of maybe some sort of AR, augmented reality, photo op, something interesting at Cabana Bay this year specifically. So you have to go to Cabana Bay to get to check out that sort of Chucky interaction thing. So it's possible they may not have the photo op there because they're doing the Chucky thing at Cabana Bay. I think they're going to do both. Now, this is actually one of the more exciting elements of Halloween Horror Nights this year for me, and that is basically for the first time ever, they're actually using the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Diagon Alley space for Halloween Horror Nights. In years past, it's been open, and it's actually been an amazing time to go to the Wizarding World, because it's completely empty during Halloween Horror Nights. Nobody comes in here. I mean, it's empty. And so for the first time ever, they're actually going to use this space. They're bringing out the Death Eaters. We've been seeing the Death Eaters make an appearance. Historically, they have not been over here on this side. They've only been over on the Islands of Adventure side. But they are actually going to make an appearance here this year. They were kind of teasing it out and bringing them over here for about a week. And now it's pretty much official. They're going to be here, so I'm excited about that. Also excited at the opportunity and the possibility that this area may become a little bit more integrated with Halloween Horror Nights in years to come. All right, this next area here right in front of Fast and Furious, the exit to Fast and Furious, this one's a tough one for me. There aren't any decorations up that I can see besides sort of just the light poles and some black like bases here. There's a lot of different light poles. Now, this one's a tough one for a couple of different reasons. My first inclination on this space is that this is where Vamp 69 is going to be. Basically the Summer of Blood. And the reason that I say that is because historically, this space right here has been where there has been a show. They have a platform that they sort of bring out into this space, and there will be some sort of show on the stage, and then they have a few performers sort of walking around, and then all the performers run out and they kind of get in the audience and scare you and in between the different performances. So if I read the description of Vamp 69, it says, listen to this, it says, a 60s music fest in a small New York town. You'll jam to popular bands with fellow concert goers. So you're jamming to popular bands, which I'm thinking maybe you're on a stage. And then it says, until Dr. Oddfellow unleashes vicious vampires on the audience and they're out for your blood. That sounds exactly like what has been here every year. A stage, something happening on the stage, and then when whatever that is on stage is sort of over, all these people come out and they like harass the audience. Feels a lot to me like that's what this is, exactly what this is saying. So I'm gonna go with Vamp 69 for now. If we get up there towards the last one, which is, I guess, where Shipyard's gonna be, although that seems like an odd one to have in that space. Unless the decorations are there and I get a different vibe, for now I'm gonna go with Vamp 69, even though Vamp 69 sounds cooler than Shipyard. So I would think it would be up there by the tribute store. I don't know, it's a tough one for me. Now right here at the Fast and Furious entrance, there's always a house right here. This has been Blumhouse in recent years. This is actually one that we got wrong. We thought for sure there was gonna be some sort of Blumhouse connection this year, maybe Megan, something around that. And there isn't. We haven't seen one yet. Now, maybe they'll surprise us and throw something in that we're not aware of. But right now, I don't see any Blumhouse. There's been no confirmation of Blumhouse or anything around that. So that's a tough one for me. That's where we predicted Blumhouse was going to be. So now I just don't know. I think maybe Dueling Dragons might end up there. Usually that's a house that's pretty big and it's got a lot of space. So I feel like it's going to be a decent one. Maybe it's going to be Dueling Dragons. I don't know, we'll keep playing with the speculation map and then we'll actually throw it up here at the very end of this episode to kind of show you where we landed. Once I've gone through the whole park and seen everything, I think I'm gonna change my mind on where maybe some things are, and then we'll kind of throw up that speculation map to show you our official kind of final speculation. We're coming up on our final scare zone and there's definitely some stuff out here. Definitely some stuff that is not really showing very well what it is, but does feel shipyardish to me. Because honestly, this almost just looks like a tent of some kind? I don't know, I can't really tell. Okay, now I'm actually updating my speculation for sure, because we can kind of see peeking through what I thought originally looked kind of like a World War II tent. Almost like a war tent, maybe Shipyard 42. But now I'm seeing these like really vibrant colors peeking through right here, which has given me a very like 60s feel. And now I'm also seeing this giant stage up here. Yeah, okay, this is definitely going to be Vampire 69 for sure. In the past, they have had some interesting things here. Like last year, they sort of had like the candy place, and they had like the town hall, which, by the way, was really weak. They didn't really do enough with it, I think. It looked cool, but they didn't do much with it. It's pretty obvious now, because there's a giant stage right here that literally says Music Fest 69. So there you go. They're making a little bit of a change. So that entire speculation thing that I just did down there went right out the door. I still think that made sense. I mean, that's what they've been doing in that space, but it's definitely got the stage show here, which means that the one out there in front of the exit to Fast and Furious has to be the Shipyard. I guess it makes sense because it does kind of feel like that area with all the bricks and where Jaws and stuff used to be, and now it's Fast and Furious. It says it's 1940s New York warehouse, like on the docks or something. So I would say for sure, I can definitely see that fitting there as far as the vibe and the look and feel goes. It makes sense. But that's definitely going to be Vamp 69. So now we pretty much, I feel like we've got all the scare zones locked down. I feel like that all the locations of our scare zones are correct and accurate. All right, now, so let's move on to the last few haunted houses. Now that we have all the scare zones locked in, I want to talk about the last few haunted houses. So all the way back here, there goes Rip Ride Rocket. All the way back here by the tribute store, where they're moving the tribute store back here to this building to my right instead of the one there in the front of the park. I don't know why, but they're moving it back here. This is the space where I think two houses are going to be. The first one down here I think is going to be Dr. Oddfellow. This is where a lot of the like Icons houses have been in the past. So I have a feeling one of them is going to be back here. might end up being somewhere different, but this is sort of near the Dr. Oddfellows Scare Zone prediction. You sort of walk through that to get to here. Could be Dr. Oddfellows is a little bit closer to the front there by the amphitheater where some of the other bigger houses have been, like Halloween was there. But I have a feeling it might end up being back here. The other house that I think is going to be back here is the Yeti Campground Kills. And that's because cold houses have typically been back here in this space. Winter's Wake was here last year, which was the coolest haunted house I think I've ever seen, ever. And this is one of the ones we got wrong too. We were sort of predicting maybe Krampus was going to make an appearance. Again, another cold house, because we felt like there was going to be another cold house this year. But it ended up now it's Yeti Campground Kills. I think Yeti infers cold house. I mean, Yeti is technically kind of like an abominable snowman. It's not the same as Bigfoot or Sasquatch. So I think that is going to be the cold house this year, right back in that space. So prediction-wise, I think we were on the mark when we said there was going to be another cold house. I think, if they actually make it a cold house. Just which one it was, we were a little bit off. But I think it's going to be back there. All right, we're in the home stretch here. The last three houses are right here in a row along this corridor. Right here, I think this is going to be Last of Us house. I would be really surprised if it's not. Could end up being Dr. Oddfellows. Maybe they'll sort of switch the two where the two have been in the past. But I feel like this is going to be Last of Us. I think it's going to be the biggest house of the year. This is where Texas Chainsaw Massacre was. This is where Halloween was in past years. Always sort of like what they think is going to be the biggest house of the year ends up being one of these big ones right here behind the amphitheater. So I'm thinking Last of Us is going to be there for sure. The other one is The Exorcist. Now they could be flipped. It could be Exorcist and Last of Us, or it could be Last of Us and Exorcist. You could flip the two. Maybe Dr. Oddfellows in this space, but I think that's where they're going to be. So Exorcist here in this space, Last of Us in this space. That's my prediction. I don't see any sort of decorations or anything up in this space yet to indicate that there will be for sure here, but I'm going to say they are. All right, we made it to our last haunted house location. It's right here by Despicable Me, and actually the secret cool walk space that you can actually walk through to Islands of Adventure on that's never open. Never open. Like, can we open the shortcut ever, please? Anyway, I digress. This is where we're predicting that Blood Moon Dark Offerings is going to be. This last year, this was, I believe, Hellblock Horror, which was a last-minute thrown-together haunted house, which was not good at all. So hopefully they don't just throw this one together last year and we get a repeat. This is where we were predicting maybe this sort of like devil house was. We thought maybe devil dogs would come back. Maybe it was going to be Demon Slayer in some capacity, something around devils and demons. And we're kind of close. I mean, it's called Blood Moon. It talks about colonial era village with these moon worshippers who are basically hunting down non-worshippers and, I don't know, killing them, sacrificing them, something. So very demonic in a sense. Blood sacrifices, I don't know. I feel like that's going to be this space. We'll see if it ends up being, but I'm thinking it might end up here. All right, so that's the entire walkthrough of the park and where the different locations are going to be. Now what I want to do is kind of revisit it. I want to throw up our latest speculation map based on everything that I saw in the park today and kind of show you where everything kind of landed. Overall, we were right on the money with most of the houses, and I think we're going to be right on the money with most of the locations. I think we've got all the scare zones locked in. You can kind of see those on the map, all the different scare zone locations, starting at the beginning, Dr. Oddfellows, which is I think where that's going to be. Then moving around to the right side, got Dark Zodiac, then you've got Jungle after that. Then I think you're going to move into Shipyard over there by where Jaws used to be, near the entrance of Diagon Alley, and then finally ending there with the Vamp 69 sort of show. Nightmare Fuel is where it's going to be. Still not sure about the actual fireworks show. We'll find out more about that. And then I think we've got most of the houses locked in. I think we're close. We're only a couple of weeks out now from the actual official opening of Halloween Horror Nights, so we're going to see more construction. We'll give you more updates on that. But overall, just take a look at the speculation map. I also put it on Twitter. I posted it here in our community tab as well, so you can grab it and take a look at it in more detail. One of the houses that we didn't talk about much tonight was Dueling Dragons. That's exciting to see Dueling Dragons finally making a comeback to Universal after they ripped that ride down at Islands of Adventure and made way for Hagrid's, which was a definite improvement. Hagrid's is absolutely off the chain, but I have missed Dueling Dragons. It was such a cool ride. Well, it's coming back this year for a haunted house, so I'm excited to see what that's all about. If you want to know more about Dueling Dragons and that particular house, check out our video. We're going to talk about it and what might be in there. Now, I want to mention we're doing another Halloween Horror Nights video where we actually break down all the houses for you. We did one a couple of weeks ago. It's out there. I'll link to it below. But we're doing another one with all the new houses to kind of show you what to expect at each of the houses. What are they going to be about? What do they look like? I will link to that below as well, so you're going to want to check that out if you haven't seen it yet. I don't know if it will be available at the time this video posts. It might be a day or two after. So that's all I've got for you tonight. What do you think? You think we're on or we're off when it comes to the speculation? I get a lot of my information by scouring lots of online forums, all the different chatter. There's lots of Twitter. There's lots of other YouTube channels and things that talk about this stuff. So I give credit to those below, down in the description. If you want to know where we've gotten some of our information, I give credit where credit is due. Take a look, it's in the description. A lot of it just comes from our head based on what we read, but some of it comes from others, so we do thank you for contributing that to us. Be sure to let us know in the comments what you think or what we have missed, or if we're off on something, because I will absolutely update our map and our information in these videos. If you give me a piece of information that is helpful, I will definitely put it in and I'll give you credit. And let us know, are you as excited about Halloween Horror Nights 32 as we are? I'd love to hear from you. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification button so you know when the next video drops. Thanks again for joining us. Until we see you next time, the Noble Way is the easy way. Bye-bye, everybody.